Greetings to one and all. This is Jivisha Maheshwari, and today we are going to discuss about fundamentals of MAC protocol for wireless sensor network. So let's start with the basic first. What is wireless sensor network? Wireless sensor networks can be defined as a self-configured and infrastructure-less wireless network to monitor physical or environmental conditions such as temperature, sound, vibration, pressure, motion or pollutants, and to cooperatively pass the data through the network to a main location or sink where the data can be observed and analyzed. A sink or base station act like an interface between users and the network. One can retrieve required information from the network by injecting queries and gathering results from the sink. So these wireless sensor network consist of hundreds and thousands of sensor nodes. The sensor nodes can communicate among themselves using radio signals. These have become leading solution in many important applications such as intrusion detection, target tracking, industrial automation, smart building, and so on. The sensor nodes are generally unattended after the deployment in hazardous or hostile areas. These nodes have to work in the limited and non-replenishable energy resources. Since energy efficiency is one of the main design objectives for these sensor networks, MAC sublayer is a part of data link layer in WSN protocol stack. The energy consumption of sensor node is greatly affected by MAC protocol, which controls the node radio functionality. We all know that MAC sublayer resides directly above the physical layer and has basic functions such as framing, reliability, flow control, error control, and medium access control. These multiple access protocols can be divided into three categories. The first one is random access protocol, the second one is controlled access protocol, and the third one is channelization protocol. We'll treat all these protocols one by one. The first one is fixed assignment protocol, that is also called channelization protocol. Each node is allocated a predetermined fixed amount of channel resources. In this, the available bandwidth of the link is shared in time, frequency, and code to multiple stations to access channels simultaneously. This includes FDMA. So in this FDMA, the available bandwidth is divided into equal bands so that each station can allocated its own band. Guard bands are also added so that no two bands overlap to avoid crosstalk. The next one is CDMA. One channel carries all transmissions simultaneously. There is neither division of bandwidth nor division of time. For example, say if there are many people in room and they are all speaking at the same time, then also perfect reception of data is possible if only two persons speak the same language. Similarly here, data from different stations can be transmitted simultaneously in different code languages. Now the third one is time division multiple access, TDMA. In this, bandwidth is shared between multiple stations to avoid collision. Time is divided into slots and stations, and these stations are allotted slots to transmit data. However, there is overhead of synchronization and each station needs to know the time slot. This is resolved by adding a synchronization bit to each slot. Another issue with TDMA is propagation delay, which is resolved by addition of guard bands. Now these are appropriate for sensor networks that continuously monitor and generate deterministic traffic. These also causes bounded delay for each node and may lead to inefficient use of channel. Now we'll move to random access protocol. In this, all stations have same superiority, that is no station has more priority than another station. Any station can send data depending upon the medium state, that is idle or busy. That's why it is referred as random, because any station can send the data randomly. It has two features. There is no fixed time for sending the data. There is no fixed sequence of stations sending the data. Now the random access protocol are further subdivided as Aloha, which is further subdivided into pure Aloha and slotted Aloha. Then CSMA, carrier sense multiple access, that ensures fewer collision as station is required to first sense the medium before transmitting the data. The third one is CSMA CD, that is carrier sense multiple access with collision detection. Station can terminate transmission of data if the collision is detected. And the fourth one is carrier sense multiple access with collision avoidance. The process of collision detection involves sender receiving acknowledgement signal. If there is just one signal, then the data is successfully sent. But if there are two signals, then it means that collision has occurred. To distinguish between these two cases, collision must have a lot of impact on received signal. However, it is not so in wired networks, so CSMA CA is used in this case. Third one is control access protocol. In control access, the stations seek information from one another to find which station has the right to send. It allows only one node to send at a time to avoid collision of messages on shared medium. There are three control access methods. The first one is reservation. In reservation method, a station needs to make a reservation before sending the data. The timeline has two kinds of period. Reservation interval of fixed time length, data transmission period of variable frames. Let us take example, if there are m stations, the reservation interval is divided into m slot and each station has one slot. Suppose if station 1 has frame to send, it transmits 1 bit during the slot 1. No other station is allowed to transmit during this slot. In general, ith station may announce that it has a frame to send by inserting 1 bit into ith slot. After all n slots have been checked, each station knows which station wish to transmit. The station which has reserved their slot transfer their frames in that order. After data transmission period, next reservation interval begins. Since everyone agrees on who goes next, there will be no collisions. Second one is polling. Polling is similar to roll call performed in class. Just like teacher, controller sends a message to each node in turn. In this, one acts as a primary station, that is controller, and the other acts as secondary station. All the data exchanges must be made through controller. The message sent by controller contains address of node being selected for granting access. Although all nodes received the message, but the address one responds to it and sends the data. If there is no data, a poll reject message is sent back. Problems include high overhead of polling messages and high dependence of the reliability of the controller. The last one is token passing. In token passing scheme, the stations are connected logically to each other in a form of ring, and exit station is governed by the tokens. What is a token? A token is a special bit pattern or a small message which circulates from one station to the next in some predefined order. In token ring, token is passed from one station to another adjacent station in the ring, whereas in case of token bus, each station uses the bus to send the token to the next station in some predefined order. The next is SMAC, Sensor Medium Access Control Protocol for Sensor Network. This has 3 points to discuss. The first one is periodic listen and sleep, collision and overhearing avoidance, and message passing. SMAC suggests every node has to sleep for some time and wake up to see if any other node wants to talk to it. If it is active, it will consume more energy. So during sleep time, every node will turn off the radio. Also, each node has schedule and this is broadcasted to the neighboring nodes. This schedule is recorded in a form of table. Every node will wait for some amount of time for their neighbor node to broadcast the schedule. For example, A will wait for some random amount of time for C and D to broadcast the schedule. If there is no schedule received, it will send a schedule. For example, A send that it will sleep after a time T to C and D. Seeing this through a sync packet, that is synchronization packet. Seeing the schedule, C and D will also make their schedule as T, which will be sent to A. Listen and set first, that's why it will be referred as synchronizer, and C and D are in turn following the same schedule as A, therefore these are referred as followers. Now it might be often a case that C has selected its own schedule and received one different schedule from A. In this case, it will follow both the schedules. Now we'll summarize these 3 points. That schedules are periodically broadcasted to neighbors. Schedules are sent through SYNC packet. Now listen time is divided into 2 portions. One is for sync packet and the another one is for data packet. So time portion will be divided into mini slots. Sender nodes start carrier sensing while the receiver nodes start listening. Sender has to select one mini slot. For example, here the sender has selected the third slot. So up till third slot, it will carrier sense, and if it senses the channel is free, it will send the SYNC synchronization packet at the fourth slot. Data sending has a little bit different process. Sync packet was sent directly, but here a control packet is sent. That is, sender sends RTS packet, that is request to send. It starts sending data only if it receives a CTS packet from receiver, that is confirm to send. The other node, which is adjacent to the sender, will also hear a RTS packet destined to receiver. So while sensing this packet, it will be silent for duration contained in RTS. We'll see how overhearing is avoided in this case. For example, A is sending a RTS packet to B. The same packet will also be sent to C. While receiving the RTS packet, C will have an idea that A and B are in communication, so it will sleep and save the energy. After receiving an RTS packet to B, B will also send a CTS packet to A, which will be also sent to D. Therefore, D will have an idea that A and B are communicating and it will sleep. So basically, the adjacent nodes or neighboring nodes of two communicating nodes will sleep and save energy, and hence will avoid the overhearing. The last one is message passing. It's very easy. Sender receives RTS to receiver, receiver sends CTS to sender. So then the data is divided into smaller packets, and these packets will be sent one by one, and after receiving a packet by a receiver, it will send acknowledgement to the sender. So this was all about various MAC protocols over wireless sensor networks. Thank you.